What's up everyone, my name's Will from Ghost Hack, and today I'm going to be talking about Ghost Hack's new vocal pack that has just been released. Now in the past, our vocal packs have been mainly orientated around singing and singers. We have featured many female vocalists, a handful of male vocalists. They all have very beautiful voices, but this pack is very different. This is a pack of shouted chants and phrases for, just chanting throughout the song, or if you want some kind of pre-drop vocal, big stadium kind of festival style pre-drop vocals.
Drop it, check this. High off the bass line. Oh my god.
Turn up the bass.
Bass line. Yeah.
And all those vocals that you just heard were recorded and edited by yours truly. However, that is not how I sound. That's not how you just heard how my voice actually sounds. I think you know how my voice actually sounds. It sounds a lot more like this.
Drop it, check this. High off the bass line. Oh my god. Roll with the bass line.
And for those who like to process vocals themselves, both the dry and the processed vocals are all going to be included in this pack. But I wanted to take you through today and just show you a little bit of the effect chains I used inside FL Studio in order to process the vocals the way that I did. So first off, let's take Drop It right here.
Drop it.
Which obviously sounded like this.
Drop it.
In the beginning, but I have now kind of recreated the chain, so it sounds like this.
Drop it.
That's pretty dang close to the original. Most of these will be pretty close, but I just want to take you through and show you what I did. Without the effects, this is what it sounds like.
Drop it.
See, I have layered this.
Drop it.
With this.
Drop it.
So this is kind of the normal pitch. Yeah, this is completely normal pitch, just brought down in volume a little bit. And this is a slightly lower pitched one.
Drop it.
I used E2 speech and dropped it down. How much did I drop it? I dropped it down -5 semitones. And then it is followed by this effect chain. Now there's only a few things in here. The first thing I added was an EQ.
Drop it.
Just to lower the volume a little bit with this, bring up the high end, a little bit of the low end, and roll off any weird low end that might have been recorded. And then after that, I threw on an OTT, the time down a little bit, and just mixed in the depth.
Drop it.
I also made sure to, make sure the mid is kind of punching through and make sure it still retains a lot of its strength. Then after that, it's going to go into Serum Effects, where I have some hyperdimension going on here. You can see what I'm doing with like a double unison voice, and I'm really spreading it out and just mixing that in. It doesn't sound like this.
Drop it.
I just wanted to mix that in, so
Drop it.
that's what it sounds like. I also added some dimension and a little, just teensy bit of downsampling up top. And then it's running through the multi-band compressor, which is really slamming it. And that is pretty much our sound. I just threw a limiter on it to control it and give it a little bit more gain.
Drop it.
And that's how I achieved that one. But that was just vocal number 1. I have 5 more vocals here I'm going to show you. This next one is this one.
Check this.
And this one is not 100% perfect. It isn't a 100% recreation. I don't know exactly how I did it, but this is basically how I did it.
Check this.
It's basically that. So this is going into 2. What I have it on is E2 speech again. There's a bunch of different warp modes. There are other warp modes that you can use in different DAWs, but in FL Studio, for these kind of vocals, I like to use E2 speech. It keeps things pretty smooth, and the name kind of makes me think that it was designed for vocals of this sort. So I brought it down -4 semitones.
Check this.
So without the effect chain,
Check this.
just sounds like that. And what I'm doing for the effect chain here is first off an EQ
Check this.
to boost a little bit here, take out some annoying frequencies that I didn't really like, especially later on down the chain, and then boost slight bit of the low end as well as rolling it off to avoid any sub frequency action. After that, throw on a Serum Effects where the majority of the work is being done here.
Check this.
I got a bit of downsampling going on here, just at 15%. I mixed that in and added a similar effect to the last one with the hyperdimension, except instead of 2, I actually have it on 7, and I'm mixing it in a little less. It just adds a lot of thickness, and then a little bit of the dimension as well. It's slamming through this multi-band compressor, which I brought up the low end a lot, and it's just coming through pretty strong there. And then this delay is also very important. I have it on normal, and I actually have the mix all the way up. But what I did was I just controlled it using the feedback. So this would be just the normal sound.
Check this.
But I added a little bit of this.
Check this.
And I mixed it in about there.
Check this.
Maybe a little higher.
Check this.
Yeah, something like that. It's just to preference at that point, but that's all that does. That's what creates the metallic sound. After that, a sound goodizer just makes it thicker and fatter. I like it. I can maybe even ease down on it a little bit.
Check this.
It just gives it a little more strength, and then it runs through a limiter, which I'm also adding a little ceiling here.
Check this.
But moving on here, we have this next one right here,
High off the bass line.
which is kind of a drum and bass vocal in my opinion. It was made for 175, but this is what my recreation sounds like.
High off the bass line.
So I'm just going to show you exactly what this is. This is the original vocal,
High off the bass line.
which I don't think I changed I changed the pitch down one semitone. I just brought it down one semitone so my voice would be a little bit deeper and a little less childlike. So step one here is actually using this frequency shifter plugin. This is not an FL Studio native plugin. I want to be clear about this. This is something completely different. It's from Full Bucket's frequency shifter. I got this for free. But what I did was I went to presets and I hit the initial position. I'm going to set the frequency range to 50, so not super high, and I'm going to bring it down all the way. And this is going to add this effect.
High off the bass line.
Without it,
High off the bass line.
and with it.
High off the bass line.
So that's how it gets that kind of detuned, weird, wonky sound. I really like that. Used in vocals. I used it on several of the samples. After that, I threw some EQ on it, just rolling off the low end, bringing the volume down and bringing up some high end. And then I threw it through an OTT, which is just slapping on through, especially in the mids.
High off the bass line.
After that, a Serum Effects. I use Serum Effects a lot for these vocals. We got no hyperdimension going on here, just the dimension. You can kind of see what I'm doing here.
High off the bass line.
Spreading it out along with a tad bit of downsampling, and it is slamming through another multiband compressor.
High off the bass line.
And that is basically it. And once again, just like the other ones, I threw on a limiter to add a ceiling.
High off the bass line.
All right, we're just about done here, but this next one is me saying, "Oh my God."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's the recreation. This one isn't quite exact, but it's pretty dang close to what I did. So I did not actually, warp this or pitch shift it at all. This is actually just the straight up dry vocal.
Oh my God.
It starts off going into an EQ,
Oh my God.
which is just taking out weird sub frequencies, and I ducked down around 5K just because I wanted to, and it helped later in the chain. After that, I threw it through yet another Serum Effects, which is just going really hard through a compressor.
Oh my God.
And it is going through a hyperdimension, which is doing a lot of the work here as far as making it sound spread out. So I have it on two voices, and the mix is all the way up. And I put it on a very high rate with a pretty high detune right here. This is what gives it that spread sound.
Oh my God.
There are a few different ways to achieve this. You can duplicate it, and you can pitch them around and kind of shift them out to the right or to the left. I forget what exactly, which exactly one I did, but this is a very similar technique that gives you a very, very similar sound. So after that, through a sound goodizer. I also tend to use sound goodizer a little more than I should, but it works out.
Oh my God. Then
after that, an EQ.
Oh my God.
Which in this EQ isn't really necessary, I don't think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a little bit of weird stuff going on, but that isn't a big problem. It's just minor things. Then it's getting a ceiling with the limiter.
Oh my God.
And that's how you achieve that kind of spread out effect. It reminds me of the vocals from that one track by Code Pandorum and Hi I'm Ghost. Call for Help, I believe, was the track.
How could you do this to me?
But now I'm going to move on to the last little chant here that I wanted to show off. Just a really thick... It almost sounds like one of those Call of Duty zombies, if I'm not mistaken. It got that like weird screechy voice. But this one uses a lot of layering. So I'm just going to take off the effect chain and show you these three layers. The first one is pretty much the normal layer. It's just normal, and I brought it down one semitone, I believe. Yeah, I just made it a little deeper. The next one is up one semitone. So instead of bringing it down one semitone like I did before, I forget what I said, but I didn't bring it down. I brought it up one semitone. So it's a little bit of a colliding, almost like chord. And that gives a cool effect. And I also layered it with this one, which is down a little bit lower. So it's almost like a similar fashion, like hitting three notes on a keyboard that are right beside each other, and they make this like really detuned, weird sound. And it sounds pretty cool on vocals. So now if we process this with this chain it sounds like that. And there's only a few things in this one. First off, I have an EQ. This is a similar shape to what you've seen before as far as, lowering the volume, rolling off the sub, and boosting a little bit of the highs. Then it's running straight into a Serum Effects, which I have hyperdimension to give it even more spread and more detune. You can see I'm doing the trick that I did before with the rate and the detune all the way up with 2 voices and just mixing that in, as well as a little bit of actual dimension expanding. Slight bit of downsampling. This is very slight. This is very subtle. I like to do it just to add a little bit of crispy top end. And then it's going right through a multi-band compressor. And then of course the limiter like the other ones. Alright, so those were just 5 examples of the effects that I used on some of my vocals in the new Ghost Hack vocal pack. If you're interested in this pack, if this sounds cool to you, great, because there's a link in the top of the description that will bring you right to the page where you can buy this pack. These sounds will work really good in really just big festival tracks, if you're making either deep house or like dubstep or rhythm or any just kind of heavy bass track that requires these sort of aggressive vocals. So thank you all so much for all of the support, and I will see you in the next video. Happy producing.